Things off for us in our coach interviews today. Head baseball coach at Southern Miss. Golden Eagles had a tough weekend in Statesboro, Georgia. Dropped 2 of the 3 to Georgia Southern, but they did get the one win. Coach, appreciate your time as always. We've been talking about this not just in the last little bit, but for a while now. The importance of not getting swept. And I know that that's not a way, or not the way that a coach looks at it. But when you pull away from a weekend and you manage to get one versus avoiding being swept, is there any solace in that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, kind of the death kiss is getting swept. That's so hard to overcome. And, so when you go on the road, obviously your goal is to win series and put yourself in that position. But, if you can't do that and you pull one out of there, then take it for what it is and move on. Get ready for the next.
How good a ball club is Georgia Southern after seeing them up close and personal this weekend?
Well, I'll be honest with you, and this is their coach said these exact words yesterday after we were visiting. A lot of respect for Coach N, and he said, "Coach, we just played the best 3 games we played." This year, and all other than 3 innings in that second game at the end when it got away from them. And it looked like it, man. They played exceptional defense. They had 2 starting performances on the mound, the first game and third game, that were really good. That we didn't compete well in, and we didn't make them uncomfortable. And they had a lot of timely hitting and stuff. They jumped us game 1 and blew that out. But then the others, we had to earn everything we got. So I thought they're a good team. They played well that weekend. And it's not who you play; it's when you play them, really, in my opinion.
So 13-1, you go down in game 1, and I guess there are a couple of things that stand out to me. One, it's a performance unlike any that we've seen from Nico Mazza this year. He's been so good, but it wasn't a night where you guys kicked it around, so no errors in the ball game. It looked like Georgia Southern just hit and hit and hit. Was that your takeaway?
Oh, absolutely. I was right there. I felt it, and it was they are it was. They just beat our tails. I mean, that's just the bottom line. We didn't have an answer. They got momentum, and it started rolling downhill, and, buddy, we couldn't stop it, and there you go.
So game 2, you kind of poured on at the end, and it was almost like it took a while. So it's game 2 of a doubleheader, and those are hard. Whether it's 7-inning doubleheaders or 9-inning doubleheaders, and that's what these were. So you're down going into the 7th inning, and then you talked about it a second ago, that 3-inning stretch where you score – a run in the 7th and 3 in the 8th and 4 in the 9th. That had to be big for the psyche of your ball club.
It was. We finally caught a little momentum. I mean, that was, we have had nothing in Statesboro to that point. And I thought we pitched it well. I thought Billy did fine. Yeah, we gave up a 2-run home run out of the bullpen. There when we went the left-on-left option, but then Colby comes in and keeps it there. So I knew we had a shot. We just need to score. We need to get going. And luckily we did. And we caught some momentum and put the runs on the board. And I really was hoping that would carry over into Sunday, but it just didn't. And, the guy they had on the mound that day had a lot to do with it.
So in the final game of the series, I mean, it feels like a different type of game than what you had in the doubleheader on Saturday. Low-scoring game, it's still 1-1 going to the bottom of the 7th inning. They scratched for 1 in the 7th and 1 in the 8th. And I guess for the most part, a well-played game, 3 errors, which is not something that your team has done a ton of.
No, we hurt ourselves in that 1 inning where they scored the go-ahead run, the second run. I mean, there's 2 outs pop up in the infield. We don't catch it. We're running around like a circus, and that runner scores, or the guy that was on scored, so that would have been the 3rd out. You're just keeping it a 1-1 game going into might have been the 8th or 9th inning. Yeah. And so we made some errors that day, and that was uncharacteristic. But we pitched around some of them, and it didn't hurt us, but that one did.
What'd you say to your ball club after Sunday's game when you're getting ready to get back on the bus and make the trip back to Hattiesburg and start a new week?
We're in a storm, and the college baseball season's so long, it's never perfect. Every team's going to encounter some stormy weather, where things just aren't going your way, and a lot of it's your own fault. And that's what I told them. And I said, how do you get out of storms, man? You got to weather it. You got to endure it. You got to, you got to do everything you can to mitigate things and just move forward and learn from it. So, Obviously it was stern. It was, a lot of pride in this program and putting this uniform on, and we just didn't play all week. The type baseball that we've showed we can, and at the end of the day, that's on them. Those young men have to be accountable and go out there and perform, and figure out ways to handle these storms.
I feel like in some ways this is like a Groundhog Day question, because I feel like for the last 2 or 3 weeks I've been like, all right, tough week coming up. The good news is all 4 games this week are at home, but you get Tulane at your place on Tuesday night, and then a good Troy team coming in this weekend.
Yeah, it is, and that's kind of come to expect it. And we're a team right now that we got to earn everything. We're not just going to roll out talent a lot of folks. We're going to have to go play good baseball, and we can, and we've shown that. But when you don't answer the bell and you don't put your best effort out there or production and stuff, you're going to be in a position where you could get beat. So it doesn't matter who you play. We're out there trying to just play a good, solid game of baseball with great energy, and look forward to doing it back here tomorrow night, in front of our fans.
Even when you've had good pitching in the midweek, you've used a bunch of guys. Is that kind of the plan again on Tuesday night when you face Tulane?
It has to be, just because, you played doubleheader Saturday, one Sunday, then you got midweek, then a short, Thursday, Friday, Saturday schedule because of Easter.
Yeah.
You got to, I can't limp into Troy, so it's going to take multiple folks tomorrow to, go out there and help us win 27 outs.
Coach, I was talking with another coach earlier today, and we were talking about the same situation you had. They played a doubleheader this past weekend, and then they've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday coming up this weekend. And we talked a little bit about kind of what you do with your rotation, and it's one thing to move a guy up a day, but another thing when you've got to move him up 2 days. You given much thought yet to this weekend? I mean, are you ready to roll Nico back out there on Thursday night, or do you have to do something a little bit different with the rotation?
Well, I think because of the circumstance Saturday of pulling Nico after 4+, with that 80 pitches, he didn't get taxed too much. And Nico's a guy that bounces back pretty good. So I expect him to be ready. And, we might have to change our midweek, what we normally do in our routine and stuff. And the same thing with Billy and Will, but those guys would be on 6-day rest, and 5 for Nico. But if I know him, he's going to be ready. He said, "Give me the baseball." He wants to get back out there. So that's what I expect.
All right, Coach. We always appreciate your time. Good catching up, and wish you the best this week.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Christian Ostrander joining us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi.